Crispin, who is doing a research for a school project, has asked me 5 questions. And then I have one from Precious, who is from Africa, who sent me, it looks like 20 questions to me. So I'm going to go with Precious questions first, because I told Precious that I was going to do this yesterday. All right, so your name. The title is Ajahn, and the name is Tri space Dao. It's a Buddhist name. Your role. I'm a Theravadan Buddhist monk. Theravadan is the School of the Elders. So you can put School of the Elders on Google Buddhism, and it will come out to be Theravadan, and vice versa. I am a Dharma teacher and meditator. And I've been meditating for 23 years. Vipassana. Name of the temple you are based at or attend. At this current time, I am affiliated with Wat Dondu, W-A-T, space D-O-N-D-O-U. The location of the temple is in the capital of Laos, Vientiane, Laos. And by the way, the abbot there is Ajahn, which is a title. His name is Saidon, X-A-I-D-O-N-E. Permission to record, yes, that's why I'm doing this for you. Photos of the temple that will come over. Would you explain the main goal of Buddhism to someone new? The goal of Buddhism is to help the individual understand the true nature of reality of life. Because just think about it, for each and every single one of you who are listening, we tend to make up a lot of stories about people, places, and things, and it tend not to be true. Furthermore, we tend to think 3 things about other things, people, places, or things. We think that they are permanent, does not change, and that they are under our control often. And Buddhism teaches you the total opposite, is that not everything lasts forever. All things are subject to change, and rarely are they under your control. Okay. So furthermore, Buddhism aims to explain to people how to chill, relax. We teach people things that school doesn't teach people: how to let go of negative acquired emotions, and let go of negative acquired bad habits. And I think that Buddhism aims to explain how to teach someone how to be free from conditions, free from attachment, free from conventionalism, how society expects certain things of you, and you have to behave in a certain manner, or be this, be that, your family values. So Buddhism is the most comprehensive and effective educational system the world has ever seen. Okay, next question. What are some of the core values that guide your daily life as a Buddhist? Exactly that, what I just said. Core values is that everything through my lens, that I see through my eyes, everything is impermanent. They're subject to change, and rarely are they under my control. So I live in the present moment. I don't attach to anyone, any place, or anything. And so I live in the present moment, which is mindfulness. And mindfulness is awesome, because right now I'm looking at the ocean while giving this talk, and I'm looking at trees, the trees all around me. You can hear the sound of the ocean. I don't think about yesterday, because can't change anything. I don't think about tomorrow, because it has not yet come. My mom passed away 3 months ago. So, you know, it re-emphasizes exactly what I said about impermanence, change, and control. Furthermore, I should add that I also follow the Four Noble Truths, which encompasses on the 4th truth, towards the end, the Noble Eightfold Path, and I operate on those core values daily as a Buddhist. How does Buddhism differ from other religions you may know about? So I was born and raised Catholic, and I would say that in Christianity, their Bible aims to explain the what and the why, whereas our Bible aims to explain the how. And, you know, the common example I give is Jesus told you to turn the other cheek, when someone slaps you. And in Buddhism, we would question, well, how do you do that? And how do you do that, especially if you have a 38 caliber revolver, Smith & Wesson, in the glove box? So in life, people will test you, they will try you, and how do you respond to that? So therefore, by adopting methods of the Buddha that he gave us, you're able to respond better and not wind up in jail or in the ER. And I think that's what's different. We have 84,000 teachings. We have 45 Bibles spanning 45 years of his life. And for example, in Christianity, have one Bible, even though they're collected books in one. We're just really extra and really extensive. On top of 45 Bibles that we have commentaries on top of commentaries. We have different versions of the Abhidhamma, which is advanced psychological explanation of the mind. So I don't think a person can finish everything all in this lifetime, with the history, with the rich history and materials that Buddhism has to offer. Not just Theravada also, but when one finished with Theravada, one can also do cross-sectional comparison and contrast with the other two schools, Vajrayana and Mahayana. Can you explain the meaning of enlightenment in Buddhism? Enlightenment has two definitions. Number one, right here in the present moment, in the now. Right now, I am fully enlightened with all of you. I am fully in the present moment, not thinking about the past or the future. I'm here with you, period, end of story. So, free from disturbing emotions, here in the present moment. The other example I give is the only time that a person is fully enlightened is when they're in love. Because when you're in love, you tend to sit with whoever is in front of you, he or she, and when they sneeze, achoo, you think that is the most adorablest little thing that just occurred. So enlightenment is just that, when doctors operate on a patient, they are fully enlightened because they know exactly what they're going to be cutting into, avoid which nerve, don't cut the wrong nerve, especially if you're doing brain surgery. Sewing someone up with sutures. So a lot of professions in everyday life has a lot to do with enlightenment, that definition of the here, now, mindful, present. The other in a definition, which is a little bit more difficult to attain, is letting go of greed, anger, and ignorance of the Four Noble Truth. So those are the two primary and most common meaning definition of enlightenment, also known as Nibbana. Nibbana. Nibbana is Pali for enlightenment. What does a typical day or weekly practice look like for you? So back in the days, I've been a monk for 10 years. I was ordained in 2015. It's now 2025. Back in the day, I used to chant, reciting the teachings of the Buddha, the refuge, the vandanas. Meditate often. I've been meditating for 23 years. Sweeping, a lot of activities that are very boring to humans, because everyone else play a game, everyone else drive a car, play sports, monks, they like wash dishes, they like sweep the temple, they clean the Buddha statues. And why is that important to us, and why is that a weekly or daily practice? Because we tap into enlightenment as we're doing that. Trust me, believe me. You all can try this right now. Grab a broom and go out and sweep. Find a patch of something, leaves or something, and sweep. And if you are fully focused on the present moment, not thinking about the past or the future, you're really trying to sweep this thing off the ground, you are fully enlightened. That's it. This is as easy and simple as that. A lot of monastic duties and responsibilities comes now. After being a monk for 5 years, a monk can go off on his own with the approval of his teacher. I now have a lot of administrative work, a lot of duties. I also function as an interpreter, serving all areas of law and medicine. I've been doing that for 19 years. So it's quite busy. My mom passed away, so now I'm training also in immigration law to take over my dad's office. So, that's why this video is late, coming to you guys. Okay, give me 1 second here. part 2 of answering questions for students. We're still with Precious from Africa. Are there any specific chants, meditation technique, or ritual that are important to you? So yeah, I think recollections on the Buddha, the iti piso bhagawa arahang sama sambuddho vicacarana sampanno sukato loka vidyu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. I think that encompasses, that's why they chant a lot of that 108 times in Thailand, because it reminds us to cultivate ourselves to be like the Buddha, to relax, to chill, to let things go. Don't hold things personally. Tame our ego, or the sense of us, who we are, who we think we are. The meditation technique, vipassana, which is also known as the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Or rituals are important to you. I think the holidays are really important in Buddhist holidays because it reminds us of what it used to be. Just reliving the days of the Buddha, celebrating the birth, enlightenment, and death of the Buddha, which goes on with your other question down here. Is what festival or important religious days does your temple celebrate? Well, all temples celebrate Vesak, for example. Vesak, again, Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and subsequent death, which is birth, enlightenment, and then death. There are also other festivals. We got full moon festivals, we got vegetarian festivals. It's a lot, and it varies per culture. When I have time, I celebrate with the monasteries, but now not so much because of all the competing priorities. You can also look that up for all of you who are curious. You can look up Buddhist holidays, or common Buddhist holidays. It's all over there on Google, actually. Can you describe what your temple looks like and how it's used? It's open daily. People can come to chant and meditate. The previous hours were 7 to 7:30 of chanting, and then 7:30 to 8 for meditation. And nowadays, the door shuts at 5, so you got to get there before 5. What do statues, incense, and colors inside the temple symbolize? The incense, no different than the Catholic world. There's signs and symbols used to venerate, hold in deep respect for the Buddha. The statue, you will see the one and only historical Gautama Buddha in the middle, and followed by some of the statues on the outside, which is his birth, when he took 7 steps, his mom Maya, so that stands behind him. You will see the first 5 disciples, you will see Mahaparinibbana, and you will see when he achieved enlightenment. So these are some of the key statues that you see in Theravadan monasteries, including mine. And how is it used? It's a refuge, a place where people can come and just relax and reflect on the teachings, because the human's job is to forget, do we not? We forget a lot of things. We forget teachings across all religions. So that's why you need to go to church, you need to go to monasteries, so that you reflect what Buddha want you to do right now. Does he want you to attach and be upset or react in an unkindful, unskillful way? No, he would want you to act in a wholesome, skillful manner so that you don't create negative karma. What should someone keep in mind when visiting the temple for the first time? Be respectful, wear clothes as if you're going to church, long sleeve everything. Long sleeve, wear pants, preferably white. You should wear all white, so that it reminds you of purity of mind and body, speech, and mind for the benefit of other people. When you see monks, put your hands together as a sign of respect and say, Vandana, or Venerable Sir, Namasaka, Ajahn, okay? And if you're really Buddhist, you would bow in front of them 3 times. You're not bowing to them, you're bowing to the colors of the robes and what it means, which is the renunciation and the colors dedicated to world peace. The etiquettes of keeping certain things in mind when visiting a temple is also available on Google. So there's a whole long list, actually. Shouldn't scream, shouldn't yell, just calm, keep quiet, silent. If you're going to speak, speak softly. right place, right time. Just observe people around there and see what they do and assimilate and be just like them. Obviously, it's not a circus and it's not a playground, so you know, don't behave as such. What was your first experience like when you walked into a Buddhist temple? I believe when I was 12, it felt warm, welcoming, non-judgmental. It felt really chill, really calm, and I got hooked. Whereas when I was previously Catholic, I felt cold. I don't know, I felt like Jesus was really far away. It's just the way how I felt about it. And until this very day, you know, it's a place of calm, peace, serenity, tranquility for me, and I hope that you will feel the same for you. What does your practice bring to your life personally? A lot of peace, comfort, joy, inner peace, joy, freedom, tranquility again. And, you know, just to survive until I reach 80 and, you know, do my 8 and hit the gate. The practice to me, I reflect on this often actually. Where would I be? How would I respond? I've changed so much. I used to be a very angry young man. I grew up as a single child, felt very entitled, right? Just like the rest of the other single children, single childs out there. Yeah, I mean, I think we all grow up, you know, fortifying the sense of self, me, my, and I, the atta, and to not have preferences in life and to just chill, just relax. It is what it is. It can't be what it ain't. Let it go. It's not meant for you. Let it go. You know, don't desire too much. You know, and that was me. I was the total opposite of all of that. And Buddhism changed my life. I'm calm, relaxed. I am 90% enlightened most of the time. That means I'm in the present moment, not the other type of definition of enlightenment, not an arhat, not a saint. But I'm able to function and make less mistakes in my life as a direct result of being mindful of my speech, body, and mind, what I do, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, and who I'm doing it with. Dependent arising, understanding what just happened, why is it here, and what caused the links of influence of things. To understand the why and instantaneously having that wisdom to understand the why is very useful in life. Okay, I am back. Hopefully I'm back. Okay, that call coming in. Is there a specific teaching or quote from the Buddha that really stands out for you? There's a lot. For a couple, I would say, number one, everything is preceded by the mind. That's in the Dhammapada verse 1. And yes, we really got to slow down and think about these quotes. Everything is preceded by the mind. The mind is the forerunner. So inside your brain, you know, that voice in your head, also known as the lawyer in your head, tend to misguide you. That's your mind. And you got to know what your mind is trying to do. Why is it pulling you different directions? Why is it wanting things, wanting to do things? Sensual desires, anger, torpor, sloth. And, you know, just, so it's like you're the lighthouse. You're the lighthouse of your own mind. You're your own enlightenment. Trying to scan for what is happening here. What is happening here in my mind? Why is my mind tripping? Why is my mind jumping to conclusions without evidence? Why is it blowing things out of proportion? Why is it so angry all the time? So again, we gotta really examine the mind. The other quote that the Buddha said was, I know not, and you know, I'm not word for word perfect, but the Buddha says, I know not of anything that brings great happiness than a mind that has been brought well under control, well restrained. So, and that I have done. I've spent 23 years bringing my mind under control, and it is well restrained. So, and then the other quote, and the third quote, and I'll end with this, is I rather learn to walk alone, because not everyone lasts forever. And I'd rather walk alone than to walk with fools. And that, if you look at everyday life, it brings a lot of truth to it. So again, it's going to leave you thinking for an entire year of these quotes. It means a lot to me. And thank you so much for reaching out for part 2 of it. Sorry. I like to say thank you, Precious. Pictures will come towards your way. It's weird because the email I can't really attach a lot because they're like, oh, it's greater than 43 megabytes, so you can't send more pictures. I don't really know what it's trying to do. I'm just trying to send the darn pictures. But a lot of it is on my Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to see my historical timeline, I've been quite active over the past 8 years of teaching online. So I invite your school or your professor or teacher in visiting my social media platform, including my links, so that they can see who you were interviewing or attempted to interview, buying through some of the questions, and effective communication via email. Again, please reach out once you have seen this. I've been monitoring the comments to see if you joined us from Africa, but due to the time difference, you're probably not monitoring. But again, I really get a kick out of this. All questions from students worldwide. At this time, I'd like to move on to my second. Okay, all right, to my second page. For Aspen. And Aspen, you have a very unique email because it almost looks fake. The questions are not, but the email looks fake. It's like a bunch of letters at gmail.com. There's usually, you know, students have first and last name and it looks quite legit. So I'm just gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Number one, at what moment did you decide to be a Buddhist? Well, I think at age 14 was a very defining age. That would be a boat. That'd be a boat. The dolphin sightseeing boat in front of me. The ocean's beautiful. At age 14, I had my first speeding ticket, and the judge says, you need to do community service. I said, fine. So I was at Northeast High School, and I walked to the Florida Southwest Buddhist Temple, which is right around the corner. And my father used to work for the Asian Faith Center, which is across the street from the monastery, and I did my 50 hours of community service there. Upon doing community service hours, I attended the 7 o'clock chanting and subsequent meditation, the Butto technique, in breath, But out breath to Thai technique, from 7:30 to 8. And I just absolutely fell in love with the bell, the vibrations of the bell. I absolutely fell in love with the monks, even though they didn't even look at us. They like walked on stage, and like, that's all. This is all you saw, by the way. All you saw was their backs, but the chants got me, and I was just at peace. That's all I ever wanted in my life was peace. My life was hectic when I was 14. It was hectic from 14 all the way to like 29 when I ordained. So that's a long time dealing with depression, anxiety, bipolar, you name it. You name it. It was just really bad. I've never felt so at peace, and I would describe that was my enlightenment at 14. So of course, when a kid is seeking peace, wanting that peace, yearning for that peace deep down inside for so long, he found it. He found refuge at a monastery. Hopefully you all will replicate what I'm saying and verify and validate that for yourself. So 14, I would credit 14, even though I've shown up to monasteries long before that. Number two, what was the reason behind choosing exactly Buddhism? Well, because it is the most effective and comprehensive educational system that I have ever seen in my life. And that's also asserted in the entire world that it is. 84,000 teachings, 45 years. And this is awesome. It's non-judgmental. You can be black, white, blue, purple, black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Japanese. You can be gay, straight, transgender. You can be whatever. And Buddhism accepts you for who you are. And that's what's so relaxing about Buddhism. It's like chill. Life is already hard, you know. Why would a person choose something that is judgmental or shoo, go away? We don't like you because you're gay. We don't like you because you're straight. We don't like you because you're transgender. Like, did I ask to be transgender? Did I ask to be gay? A lot of other religions don't really like open their eyes to the fact that, don't you see the first noble truth in Buddhism, which is we're all subject to birth, decay, old age, disease, and death, you know? And so they inflict a lot of really harsh standpoint and teachings onto people, and people commit suicide as a direct result of really believing that God is judging me right now, or so they perceive, or so they take in. And Buddhism is so chill. It's like, be you, be true. That's it. That's Buddhism. Um, and I hope to inspire the world by and through these teachings and how to live it. So let me see. I'll answer some questions on YouTube here shortly. I apologize. I just want to get through some of these so I don't lose my train of thoughts. Number 3, how do people in your surrounding who maybe don't know much about Buddhism react to your path and way of living? Yeah, I've had a lot of really good laughs along my life and as a monk, because sometimes I remember one time going to dollar store and I had to buy some bleach for the monastery when I was ordained. I was in orange robes. I was in an area where there was a theater where students were doing like acting, and the girl at the Dollar General store, she says, "Excuse me, sir, what kind of party are you going to?" With like the straightest face, and I laughed so hard deep down inside, and I said, "No, I'm a Buddhist monk." She's like, "I'm so sorry. There was a theater or whatever going on next door." So I don't blame her. I don't blame her. Ever since the Avatar came out, people think I'm Aang, Avatar Aang. So you get all sorts of things. It's a chance and opportunity for people to see the uniqueness of the uniform, to encounter, to ask. A lot of people think that I do Shaolin. I'm a Shaolin monk, that I do martial arts. But no, this is the school of the elders. Even though I am well trained in martial arts, and I can in fact defend myself, I just, as our practice, we just sit underneath a tree and meditate. We don't, do triple backflips or do splits and stuff like that, like the Shaolin monks do. But sometimes the dark brown robes does suggest the image of Shaolin monks, and they're pretty cool. I like to try Shaolin one day. Recently, I was in Dallas, Fort Worth, and I was in orange robes, and a gentleman saw me and came up to me and asked me for advice, and hopefully I saved his friend's life that I got to encounter on the phone. He had suicidal ideation. So the uniform is very important. One has to carry himself worthy of a monk, duly qualified, authentic, and experienced, to give advice to people. And when he's not qualified or experienced, he needs to let people know that I'm just a novice or I'm still learning. Yeah, I really embrace people's curiosity, and that's why I'm here doing this, answering students worldwide. And this is dozens and dozens of interviews I've given in the past. I hope the answer is that. Number 4, what was your life like before becoming a full-time monk? I was a legal and medical interpreter, and before that I sold jewelry. Had my own business in retail, worked in fast food when I was younger. Pretty much I was in the private protection industry. I've pretty much done it all to understand life and how systems work in our society. Just to learn, just to know. I had energy, I had curiosity, and I just wanted, just to be a kid, a young man. But I just wanted to explore what the world was all about. I get bored often, so I jump from one job to another, to another, to another. I, fell in love 7 times. I lived life just like the rest of us. I did get attached. I did fall. I did make a lot of mistakes. I was controlling. I was angry. All these things that comes fully with being a human. What it's like to be a human. And obviously things didn't work out, so I had to change. And part of being a full-time monk is the firm resolution and resolve to change. That I see my mistakes, I want to fix my mistakes, I want to continue making such improvements for the benefit of myself and other people, and to give myself as a gift to the people, inspiring other people by and through my own transformation and change. Number 5, can you please give some advice to the young explorers of Buddhist teachings? Yeah, number 1, visit buddhanet.net and look for the Theravada School of the Elders to start your exploration in the Buddhist teachings. Look at the Four Noble Truth and the Noble Eightfold Path. Look at Vipassana, 4 Foundations of Mindfulness. Look at the 5 hindrances. Look at the 7 factors of enlightenment. Yeah, it's really cool. Look at the life of Buddha. It's really amazing. He was such a cool man, and he has lived. He was born here, achieved enlightenment here, and died here on this very earth. Our one and only historical Gautama, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. And you know, I find it inspirational to go back to his life over and over and over again to study how he dealt with some of the most difficult, challenging times of his days, of which we see those difficult times being replicated now by and through the foolishness of leaders, by and through the foolishness of humans. And I hope that oh, your name is Sasha, not Aspen. I'm sorry, it's just too much on the email. Sorry. See, I'm not a perfect teacher. I make mistakes. But I hope that does it justice. If you have any further question, please feel free to reach out to my email, the #1 Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail. #1 Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail. Welcome all to Buddhism. Oh, at this time, that video just ended. There's a lot of dancing on TikTok. Okay. So I just wanted to answer Shub. Can I stay in a monastery free? It depends on which and where the monastery. Obviously, right now, Buddhism is taking a very hard financial hit due to everything that's going on in the world. You have to ask the abbot, because the Buddhist monasteries are not like the Catholic Church. Catholic Church centralizes, you know, they have their system of banking and secretaries, and you know, they just have the funding to serve the poor, and monasteries have to stand on their own 2 feet, relying on their supporters in the area, the region where they're at. So unless the abbot, you know, has room space, you have to consult with your local abbot at your local monastery. But yeah, you know, it's a very broad question, and it varies from place to place. Okay, I think that is the only question that I see so far. I like to conclude. It's 7:27, and I have to be somewhere with my father tonight. Again, I really get a joy out of answering questions. Sorry, the sun's in my face, so I'm like, I'm not grumpy. I just wanted to show everyone here real quick what I'm looking at. There it is. Right, watching the sunset. Okay, folks, till the very next time. Take care. I look forward to, oh my goodness, we have 20 people. We had 20 people. That's amazing. I always love it when people join in to hear the good news. So I hope to go live frequently so that you all can engage with me, and just know that I'm here in serving you. It's a monk's job to serve the people above all. Take care, folks.